Hi, I'm Jeff DeMent. I'm a native silversmith and jeweler. Live here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm in my studio right now. I'm just going to talk a little bit about my work and my jewelry. First, a bit about me. I grew up in southern Missouri on a little ranch. I'm Dene, and my family's from Two Gray Hills, New Mexico area. Spent 16 years in the military. Spent some time in combat, doing anti-terrorism stuff, just all kinds of things. But I was a firearms tactics instructor for about 12 years. Then I worked for a private company doing high-profile security contracting, firearms training, all that stuff. But then I got injured in the line of duty, and I thought after separating from the military, I kind of needed something to help with that transition, so I started doing silver work. And I started off with traditional tufa casting, which dates back to the late 1800s. It was introduced to the Dene by the Spanish, and at that time they were using the best techniques and equipment they had available, which was tufa stone. It's a compressed volcanic ash. It occurs naturally in the old seabeds and lake beds here in New Mexico and Arizona. So I go out and I find it, and I get a big chunk of it, and I cut it down into these small bricks like this, which I then hand carve the mold. And if you look on the PowerPoint that I'm attaching with this presentation, you'll see the process. I have a demonstration of carving this particular mold, which this mold is for a Naja pendant necklace. And the way it works is I'll hand carve the mold with a carving knife or whatever I have available to carve it with. These are air vents, so that when you fill it up with silver, the air can come out. So the mold will have a front and a back, and then the hole in the top, that's where I pour the silver. And I do a gravity cast, which is kind of the traditional way of heating your silver or melting your silver with a torch or with a fire. And then once the silver is molten and water-like, you can pour it into the mold. The tufa stone molds, they're really chalky and kind of brittle. So after you fire them one time, typically when you pull the piece out of the mold, when you separate it from the mold, it pulls out material with it, so it ruins the mold. I only use the molds one time, which also keeps every piece true one of a kind. I've seen some artists where they use the mold as many times as they can actually possibly do it, and it really brings down the quality of their work. So the next time you're at a gallery or somewhere, you can look at the piece, if it's tufa cast, and you can see like little imperfections all over it, and that's because they've been using the mold maybe 3 or 4 times. So also in the PowerPoint, I have a video of the casting process that shows me melting silver and filling a mold with silver. And then I have videos of an example of a finished product, and then some more of my work. First started out, I spent a few days down in the studio of Daryl Dean Begay and Aaron Anderson, Manuel Licto's studio down in Gallup. And they kind of showed me the basics and answered my questions for about 3 days to 4 days, and then I just went for it. So the challenge for me, it's been, I guess, finding what tools I need to do the job, because as a new artist, someone that's been doing it for 20 years is like, oh, hey, why don't you use this tool or that tool? But I don't know, I might not know that tool even exists. But I've been doing this for, this is my 4th year. And I work with now Maloof Gallery on the plaza, and so I've come a long way in 4 years between coming to Santa Fe and looking at everyone's work in the galleries and thinking, wow, maybe I could do that. And now here I am, and my work's represented by one of the top galleries in Santa Fe. So I try to use the highest grade materials that I can possibly get. This is high grade Morenci turquoise, mined back in the 1960s. And I use use it kind of sparingly because it is so rare and so valuable. Some of the turquoise in these containers, they're valued up to $100 per carat weight. So if you think about that, the turquoise in this particular bracelet, there's probably 38, 40 carats of turquoise in here. So if you think about the value, it's probably more valuable than diamonds. And then turquoise ranges in grade and price anywhere from maybe 50 cents a carat up to $500 or $1,000 a carat for the really rare stuff. Or if the mine's closed, it'll make the value go up. The harder the stone is, the more gem grade it is. That means it's more hard and glass-like. It'll take a really good polish, and that's some of your top grade turquoise. And you can see some examples in here. But since I've been doing this, I've been able to continually reinvest back in my own business, and consequently that's allowed me to buy better materials and continue to push the quality up to the next level, which of course increases the price, but it also increases the demand because people want high quality work. And I think that's what has helped get me here. I've recently started using gold. These two bracelets are made from 24 karat gold. And retail value on these is $12,000 each. So I feel like I've come a long way from when I first started out with my tufa casting coming here. And the way I did that is through good business practices and marketing. I've ran a few successful businesses in the past, and that really, through trial and error, I learned a lot about business and how to successfully market. Before I even started doing artwork, I created a business plan and a website. That way, when I created my first pieces, I could push them out there in a smart way, and it's worked. A lot of people have been doing this for 20 years, and they say, "Oh, you've only been a silversmith for like 3 years. Why are you doing this or why are you doing that?" Well, I don't have 20 years to just screw around and learn how to do something. I mean, if you're gonna do it, why not start at the top? So these are examples of some of my work. One of my goals is to start creating some lower end pieces that I can sell for maybe $150 or maybe even $90, because a lot of people come to these shows and they really love my work and they want a part of it, but they may not be able to spend $12,000 on a gold bracelet. They may not be able to spend $1,500. So if I can create a product that's at a lower cost to me, it's still high quality, that I can sell for maybe $90 to $150, I feel like it'll fill in a gap and it'll allow more people to have my work. Plus it'll help with marketing because it'll get my work out there. Also, if you look on the PowerPoint presentation, I have examples of my finished work on there. I believe there are pictures of these gold pieces, some necklaces that I have. I can't stress the importance of business, knowledge, and marketing to be a successful artist. I believe that's probably what separates people from success and being a starving artist. This is some of my early work here. This is one of the first bracelets that I've ever made. So before I started being an artist, I made sure my skill level was at least up to par comparably to other artists that I saw in galleries. And the galleries have really helped promote my business and promote my work, and helped me get to where I am today. I also do shows, trade shows, native arts markets. I do the Swire Market here in Santa Fe, the Heard Museum show every March in Phoenix. I've also done Native Treasures and several other markets, including the Museum of Northern Arizona in Flagstaff has a Navajo festival every year, and it's a Navajo art market, and I've done really well there too. But there are a lot of Native specific art markets, and I suggest if you're a new artist and you want to get your name out there, that's a good place to start. I also work a lot with turquoise. I cut my own stones, do some lapidary work. Here's an example of a necklace that I put together. All right, that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through email, or and I'll try to answer them. The questions don't necessarily have to be about silverwork. They can be about me or my life or whatever. I don't really care. All right, take care.